Hey, welcome again to Gracie Schwarzwald. I'm here with my assistant Erkan Mete, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have Erkan show some sort of basic use of weapons. Erkan has trained in many different weapon styles, and thought I'd asked him to please kind of give us sort of just a basic overview of how to approach using them. And maybe some fundamental moves, but I can let you talk a little bit more about your experience or your background if you want to.
Okay, thank you. My background in the weapons arts is mainly based on Filipino martial arts, like Inosanto Kali, Kali Zikaran, Inay Eskrima, and different others. Today, let's talk a little bit about knife versus knife, the Filipino way, which is a pretty, in my opinion, pretty unique way how they use that to defend themselves. Here in Germany it's a little bit out of topic because we do not carry knives. Actually, it's not allowed to carry knives. Right. Maybe some people do that. Still, it is fun to train because it's very good for training your reflexes.
Right.
Getting quicker, learning hand control, also learning angling of the body, going away from the non-weapon hand while you're dealing with the weapon hand. So there are a lot of concepts you can learn and train while training knife versus knife.
Right.
So can we get up? Of course. So first, when we think of defending knife versus knife, we don't think of attacking techniques. So I do not have a technique A against your technique B, stuff like that. We defend against angles of attack.
Right.
And in a very basic way, we just have fixed angles of attack. So if we divide the person in the middle of the body, drawing the center line, then we have a left side and we have a right side. We also divide the body horizontally in the height of the elbow crotch. It's like here.
Right.
The reason why it is here, because this one will...
That's where you bend?
It's where I bend, and also if I'm above this line, my fingers and my knife is pointing up. If I'm below, it's pointing down. This is very important to use the knife, also the alive hand, the weaponless hand.
Right.
So when we divide it here and here, we have 4 attacking zones.
Right.
This is zone 1 is on the upper left side from your perspective. Everything attacking in this zone, it's an angle 1 attack. There are different kind of angles named in different kind of systems.
Right.
In the system I am from, this is angle 1, here is angle 2, and here on the lower left side it's angle 3 attacks, lower right side is angle 4.
Right.
This is when the attack comes from the outside of the body.
Right.
Then we have 2 more angles when it comes directly into your body. Below this line it's the low angle 5, above this line it's a high angle 5.
Gotcha.
So this is the basic understanding of how to approach someone attacking you with a knife. This is one important concept. The other one is, if we talk about real self-defense, then we do not talk about killing.
Right.
So when I defend myself with a knife against your knife, I do not necessarily try to kill you. I do not cut your throat or stab your heart. The reason is, first, I don't want to deal with that, killing some people and having problems with that legally, with the police, also if he had some kids or his wife and his family. This is one of the reasons, but the second reason, which is more important, is this one is not an immediate fight stopper. So when I was training in the Filipino martial arts, which I still do, is I had some instructors who showed me all these videos about real knife attacks, and there was one video, this was a stabbing in a bar, and the first stab was directly into the throat. So it was very deadly, but the guy gets stabbed 22 more times and was still able to talk to the barkeeper before he passed out, and this was maybe 30 to 35 seconds, which still was alive. So when we're talking about defending oneself, then 35 seconds in a knife fight is long. That's very long. So we do not concentrate on killing techniques, but in fight stopping techniques. We try to stop the fight as fast as possible. And that's the reason why we cut muscles and tendons. Because if I cut your muscle here on the forearm, then this one will dominate. Your hand pops out, open, and you drop the knife.
Right.
Also, when I cut the biceps tendon, then the triceps is more dominant. You're straight, but you're not able to bend your arm anymore.
Right.
And the other way around, when I cut your triceps tendon, then your arm is bent and you're not able to step anymore.
Gotcha.
And the most important target is the mobility kill. So when I stab here and cut the tendon here, then you're not able to stand.
Right.
So the fight is immediately over to that time.
Right.
So no attacks to the throat, to the heart or whatever. We attack the forearms,
Right.
the biceps tendon, the triceps tendon, and here the big muscle tendon down there. Don't know how to call it in English. But this is a quick fight stopper.
Right.
So when I teach my students and when we train, we actually train the techniques, we train the drills to make the techniques work. Also, we have different kinds of apparatus where we use real knives to train, cut deep through to the bone. So we have a stick, it's some material around it, and
Right.
we have jeans or leather, and then we try to cut.
Gotcha.
So that's a basic understanding. You have 6 ways of attack, so 6 zones of attack, and you have not that many ways to defend these attacks.
Right.
When you think of, okay, I have just these targets to stop the opponent, and one other important concept is when you attack with the right hand, I don't want to be here, otherwise you can grab me or punch me or whatever, and I have to deal with both arms.
Right.
So my game is go outside and finish the fight from here, so I fight just against one arm.
Right.
Okay. I will give you an example about the most common attack. This is like when someone grabs you and tries to stab you,
Right.
because this kind of attacks is movie or training.
Right. It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not realistic. They have adrenaline in the body.
Right.
The gross motor skills takes over.
And they just want it over as fast as possible.
Yeah, they want to grab and they stab you.
Right.
So when that happens, as you teach, I have to take control of the weapon and not of that one who was grabbing me.
Right.
I can't ignore
This is
that.
the danger hand.
This is the danger hand. So if that happens, I still monitor this hand. So when you attack, I go outside, parry your weapon to my right side and try to cut your biceps tendon.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do. That's not all. I come back with an upward slash, cutting a triceps tendon and push you away from me, so I have time to do that and walk away and run away.
Right.
That's a basic defense, very simple, very easy to train,
Right.
and very effective. So maybe one more time. I parry, I cut, and I cut the leg.
Right.
From this side.
So we go through there.
Biceps, triceps, I step inside your big muscle here, then I turn, we call it a comma cut, and I press diagonal down. I do not press directly to the back because you can step.
Right.
Yeah, I press down so you have weight on your leg.
So I can't step out of it.
Yes, and I can directly cut through,
Right.
and normally you should drop down if you trained it well.
Right.
And the fight is over, you won't die, I'm safe,
Right.
and everyone is happy.
And I can't chase you.
You cannot chase
And I
me.
can't hold my weapon.
That's right. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. This is theory. I never tried it. I hope I will never try it in the street.
Right.
But this is a way we train in the Filipino martial arts.
Right.
So the defense I do here, we call it a delayed cruzada. So if you grab and attack, I do that and that. This is a delayed cruzada. It's a delayed cruzada with a cut down, cut up, check. And when I check, it's important to check 30 degrees in that direction.
Right.
Step, cut, and run away.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions to that?
No, not to that. That's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like, you know, the theory. I think, you know, I've studied very, very little Kali Eskrima. What are they called? Defanging the serpent, right?
Defanging the snake.
Defanging the snake. Yeah. Getting them to. Because it's about the weapon.
It's about the
Getting them
weapon.
to let go of the weapon.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not about you stab me, I stab you.
No.
And I think we'll get into this when we discuss, defending against weapons, of course. But the idea that something that's dangerous, do you know that it'll work in real life? Well, you can't practice it in real life.
That's right.
But you practice it as much as you can realistically. It's the same way that when we grapple, I'm not trying to claw your eyes out when we grapple. Does that mean that Jiu-Jitsu is ineffective?
No, absolutely not.
Right? But we train sort of around that concept, so we learn to control enough that I had the experience that if you did reach for my eyes. So yeah, if you obviously you've trained this a lot, you're very fluid and very smooth with it. Mm-hmm. Are there, what are sort of the, I don't want to keep you on this a lot, but what are some of the grips that you might use for a bladed weapon?
So when we ignore all the finer details, then we have just two basic grips. It's a heaven grip when the knife is pointing up. Right. Then we have the earth or ice pick grip, where the knife is pointing down. Right. You have different kind of finer points on that, like you can position it here that it doesn't slide out. You have your thumb here because your thumb is used to press belts, so you can use it to guide your weapon. Also in this direction you can have your thumb here or whatever. But basically we have a heaven grip and we have an earth grip.
Okay. Is there, I mean, obviously you use both the slashes and the stabs, yeah. But I noticed even with the stab you're using that as a cutting because you don't want to just stab, you want to...
Yeah. Actually, we have when I use the earth grip, mm-hmm. and I do the defense and I step here.
Right.
Three things can happen.
Right.
I can be powerful enough, or it's just in the muscle, so I am able to turn and cut.
Okay.
The other one is it stuck in the bone.
And then you're stuck.
Then I stuck. Then when I turn, maybe I would break it, and I don't want to break that one, so I have to pull out and cut the other leg.
Right.
And the third one is I don't stab at all, I just cut over both legs.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But stabbing and turning is always what you do. We do not stab and pull out.
Right.
We stab, turn and pull out, stab, turn and pull out.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you. This is great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And hopefully we can do some more of these.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people training with weapons as much as possible?
Absolutely, because it's a great drilling for reflexes and controlling and angling.
Right. And something, this will be a topic maybe for another time, and I've talked about this and written about this. I'm a big fan of training other martial arts. I know sometimes Jiu-Jitsu people get very sort of focused, like Jiu-Jitsu is the only real martial art. Because not only will you learn techniques from another martial art, but that's not really the important thing. It's the concepts. So something you said actually resonated with me because it's a way I approach my Jiu-Jitsu, and I didn't realize this as much till you said it, which was you don't think about technique, you think about angles. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people with Jiu-Jitsu, get to the point where you don't think about technique. People get too much on like, here's my move, here's your move, here's my move. And I always tell people, forget that. Focus on distance and angle, and pressure. Mm-hmm. For me, a lot of my Jiu-Jitsu is not this technique or that technique. It's I feel your angle and pressure, and I try to adjust and fight that and deal with that rather than, like you said, this is the same as this, in essence.
Yeah,
you would cut my arm this way, the same way you would cut my arm this way.
Right.
So you don't have to have separate techniques as long as, and it makes it so much simpler when you have 4 quadrants versus I can throw 1,000 punches at you. Is it this? Is it this? It does not matter. And I think Jiu-Jitsu sometimes gets that mindset of like 10,000 techniques when you really just have to think about the grip or the angle, the pressure, and that's why I love training other martial arts, because it opens my mind to, even if I'm just thinking about Jiu-Jitsu, adjust my Jiu-Jitsu by thinking of it this way. Plus, when you're moving, your footwork is very good. Obviously, that's a huge part of knife fighting.
Absolutely, footwork is very essential.
Right, because part of this is you can't be where I'm cutting, you have to be where you're maximum. And I think Jiu-Jitsu people, unfortunately, you see them, they're very, very horrible footwork most of the time. Or even if they're footwork, it might be in a different style of boxing or kickboxing or something where they're a little bit more here, and it might not apply necessarily in a different situation. You know, learn all the different ways of carrying your weight, of moving, of footwork. So, you know, thank you so much for this.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Great stuff. Just don't ever cut me.
No, I don't know.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.